guys, Comic Boom here to review Action Comics number 1006. Bendis is building up a story here and a new enemy for Metropolis that has a certain genius to it. I gotta give him a compliment. I'm on board for what Bendis is doing here with Action Comics. It's been a slow build. I'm always going to have that criticism that it's more decompressed than I would like. However, I can appreciate a good story in the making, and that's what's happening in Action Comics. I want to definitively say that I'm not on the Bendis bandwagon that is going to be putting Bendis down. I think I'm off that bandwagon now. I had some, I probably jumped on that bandwagon for a while because I had some concerns, but I've got less concerns now. This is going in a direction that I like. This is really good. The Red Cloud is a very interesting villain. She's more intelligent than most of the villains. And there's another villain, the head honcho, who sort of is in charge of Red Cloud. And the way that they've been working behind the scenes of Metropolis, so that Superman is not even aware of their existence, not even saying names, not even saying certain words and phrases. That's actually a pretty good idea. It's really good. Now, the jury is still out. How exciting will the story be moving forward? Because while that is interesting in theory, that could also be something that could lead to some very boring writing. I mean, if everything's happening behind the scenes for years and Superman doesn't even know that the corporate mafia powers that be behind the scenes have been orchestrating events and essentially controlling Metropolis without even Superman knowing, or Lois Lane knowing, or Perry White, or any reporter. They've been that powerful, that effective so far, and they continue to be effective, and now perhaps even more effective with Red Cloud coming on the scene. This is what I like about how Bendis has introduced this here, is that this could easily be in continuity, and the Red Cloud, or the corporate mafia powers that be in Metropolis, the new villains of Metropolis, have technically always been there. They've just been behind the scenes, so technically they've always been in continuity too. They've just been working behind the scenes. They have one thing that Lex Luthor does not, and that is they don't possess Lex Luthor's greatest weakness. And Lex Luthor's greatest weakness is his ego. The person controlling the mafia in Metropolis, number one, it's not Lex Luthor. In fact, Lex Luthor arguably doesn't even know about them himself. We don't know the answer to that. Lex Luthor doesn't have any appearance in here. In fact, it's going to be interesting to know if Lex Luthor in fact knows about this secret hidden mafia, or as they call it in this entire series, the invisible mafia. They don't have Luthor's ego. They don't care if they're seen. They don't want to get credit for something that might happen, for a good event or a bad event that might happen. They just want to control things behind the scenes and not be known. And they don't want to draw attention to themselves. Why would they want to do that? Right? That's just foolish. That's dumb. And there's something dumb about Lex Luthor, yes. That's dumb. Lex Luthor might be the smartest person on the planet, but his ego does him in all the time. He needs people to know he's the smartest. He needs people to know that he's in charge. He needs that, and he feeds off of that. That's just who Lex Luthor is. Well, imagine a Lex Luthor-like figure who wants to stay hidden behind the scenes and spends a considerable amount of his resources and power ensuring that who he is stays secret and ensuring that Superman doesn't even hear his name. Think about that. That's what makes the Invisible Mafia so interesting, is that this person at the very end who they show is the actual head of the Invisible Mafia, and whose name is, she says her name is Leon, but to add that to the list of things they can never say, and she says it on a screen so that the person that she's talking to, of course, who is the Red Cloud, who also happens to be a reporter at the Daily Planet, being Miss Good, who tried taking out Superman last issue, or tested her powers as the Red Cloud against Superman last issue, and basically it was a stalemate. She attempts to kill Melody Moore, the fire chief in this issue, because Clark Kent, upon being informed by Miss Moore, the chief or deputy fire chief Moore, that the mayor is trying to stop the investigation of Superman and Batman into the suspicious fires that have been taking place across Metropolis. Clark Kent confronted the mayor on that, and then the mayor clearly had talked to the Red Cloud, because the Red Cloud tries to take out Deputy Chief Moore. Superman saves her life, and he confronts the Red Cloud again. And then Superman does something very interesting here, and this is what I think is something that is writing Superman much more like Christopher Reeve than Jeff Johns ever did. And here, this is a Superman that is extending an olive branch to the Red Cloud. Superman basically says to the Red Cloud, look, a lot of people have stood where you're standing and, you know, try to do the supervillain thing. It didn't work out too well for him. And I'm gonna, you know, I'm giving you this chance to turn a new leaf, because there's a lot of people out there you could be fighting that are not like me and that are not gonna have my patience. And he extends his hand to the Red Cloud. And of course, the Red Cloud ultimately just disappears, because well, she's not going to be doing that. Otherwise, the story would be over. But it's interesting that he's writing Superman a lot like, dare I say it, Wonder Woman. It's usually Wonder Woman that's extending an olive branch, or traditionally has been used by writers to sort of extend an olive branch to try to reach out to them. But here we have it being Superman in a very sort of almost Christopher Reeve-like manner, and I can appreciate that. And I'm not saying that it sounds like Wonder Woman when he's speaking. Bendis now is getting better with his dialogue for Superman. I'm starting to feel his particular interpretation of Clark Kent and Superman, and I can see it now. I can see where he's going more now, because it took a while because things are so decompressed, but I can see it now, and I have a better appreciation for it, and I can see how this Superman is written with a lot more patience and a lot more understanding and a lot more of methodical, sort of thoughtful approach to the people he confronts and to the actions that he takes. And it's interesting, and I enjoy it. And the art here is fantastic again. Ryan Sook's art's fantastic. Once again, we got a bunch of sticky notes on the computer at the beginning. This is really good. There's a fantastic sequence here where a young boy sees Clark Kent change into Superman, and he does this, so the young boy doesn't tell no one. I think that's a wonderful scene, wonderfully drawn scene. It was a great scene with Clark Kent listening to the mayor get all panicky when he asks, after Clark Kent asks some questions about the rumors that he's putting a kibosh on the investigation of the fires. And Clark Kent appears to be suspicious of Miss Good. He checked her out with his X-ray vision, and it wasn't because he's a pervert. He must see something that threw him a little off, that he must suspect something. I like the fact that Clark Kent here is being portrayed as an intelligent reporter. Bendis is doing a really good job here showing Clark Kent as a very good reporter, very thoughtful, very methodical again. And it's not just Miss Good that's a good reporter. It's showing Perry White doing his job. There's a great sequence of conversation there between Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen, where despite Clark having super senses, he's clearly not even listening to Jimmy Olsen, and Jimmy Olsen makes some passing comments about sleeping with Talia al Ghul, and Clark Kent clearly is not focusing on what Jimmy Olsen is saying, and because he's focused checking out Miss Good with his X-ray vision, again, not as a pervert. That only happens in Heroes in Crisis. That was uncalled for. I shouldn't have said that. So he thinks something is up. There's a sequence here there is one panel here where he's using his X-ray vision, and you can see how he's checking out the entire building. And I'm not really sure what this panel is supposed to mean. he's seeing different people on their emails and playing games, and I think this panel just is supposed to show how his super senses work to get some sense. I'm not really, that's what I'm guessing anyway. But very well done, laid out by Ryan Sook. The attempt on the life of Deputy Fire Chief is obviously interrupted by Superman saving her life, and of course the Deputy Fire Chief there, Miss Moore, she obviously wants Superman to kill the Red Cloud. The Superman won't do that, and Superman won't do that, and that upsets her a little bit, but she understands. You can't blow her into space or something, she says. Well, no, Superman says. Well, I could. Well, she did just try to kill me. And Superman says, well, let's teach her to do better by example. she says, oh, screw that. And then apologizes for her comments. But you could see how Superman is very different. He does have a lot more patience than your typical superhero. You can't imagine maybe... Actually, can you imagine any other hero having that level of patience? Can you imagine Batman having that level of patience? In fact, even Wonder Woman. I think even Wonder Woman would have less patience than that, quite frankly. Wonder Woman's written all over the place in terms of her behavior. I mean, but even arguably, Superman here is displaying more compassion and a greater sense of love and compassion and potential forgiveness than Wonder Woman. And he does it better than Wonder Woman. Why? Because unlike Wonder Woman, he doesn't get on his knees and supplicate himself and humiliate himself and his entire gender. But hey, I digress. Take notes, J. Willow Wilson. No supplicating yourself in front of gods. That would be a good start. There is something very curious here. This Leon character, this godmother of the Invisible Mafia, this Leon character, she apparently bought the Daily Planet. She reveals she bought the Daily Planet, and she has this vehicle here that seems to be all smashed. Now, why would she have that vehicle? That vehicle looks like the vehicle that was on Action Comics number 1, 1938, that Superman originally picked up. And that's interesting there, and I wonder why that vehicle's there. Is that same vehicle? Why does she own it? Why is it in her garage? Or why is it in her house? Or where are they right now? A lot of questions here, but are very interesting. But I think things are getting more and more. There's a lot of good, interesting questions that have arisen here, and Bendis has done just a really good job with this issue. He's whetting my appetite. Look, guys, this is going to be a decompressed tale. So at some point, we have to stop bitching about it being decompressed. It is decompressed. Get used to it. Tom King is writing, I'd much rather read this than the 100 issues of Tom King with Batman we know going nowhere. This, it feels like it's going somewhere in my mind. It really does. It's building to something. These are new characters. These are new concepts. This is actually interesting. And now, it doesn't mean, I'll be critical when the story demands me that, if I don't like the story. I always am. But so far, I gotta say, this is building towards something I think's getting interesting, and it's getting better. And yeah, I'm enjoying this. So guys, tell me what you think of Action Comics 1006. Maybe you think I drank too much Kool-Aid. It's actually a Vanilla Crown. But tell me what you think of Action Comics 1006. And follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. Hit the subscribe button, and until next time, Comic Boom, out.